Hi, welcome. This is the CaddyInfo.com Cadillac chat. It's going to be a quick chat tonight, and if I started too quick, hi, welcome. This is the CaddyInfo.com Cadillac chat. It says gone live, and then it switches to a little thing that says live. So I actually have to go back and do this when I'm not on sometime and see which one of those is real and truly the one. So I think Mike is tied up. Texas Jim is tied up. I think that Cadillac Jim may join us if he can if things sort out. We won't be on too long. The CT6 has come out, and we're getting first test drive reviews of it. So it's not actually on dealer showrooms yet. We're expecting it in March, so it's pretty soon. But we're hearing the first test drives. They like the even the 2-liter turbo version, which is the price leading $54,000. Now the CT6, the wonderful thing about it is it's a full size big Cadillac, like big traditional Cadillac. Think the Fleetwood Bromes from the mid 90s, size 122-inch wheelbase, still has a very stylish. And the important thing is it's very light. So it's actually around 3,600 pounds instead of being 4,200 pounds like its competitors. So it's going to be an interesting car. It's got 4-wheel steering. It's got 34 speakers. If you get the decked out versions, I'm not sure you can get it not decked out. I need to go actually shop and see what do you get for $54,000 these days in a CT6. I kept thinking, well, the CT6 wasn't really the car they were making for me because I like small cars. But when you talk about 4-wheel steering, and so it's going to be very agile and it's very light. And everything would, it'd be a 2016 model with everything very responsive, then maybe that is a good car for me. So I'm going to keep studying it. I really have enjoyed my wife's ATS. And of course, I enjoy my XLR. I had just talked myself into going maybe another year in my STSV, since it's a 500 horsepower barnstormer. And so, but we'll see. We'll see how now I have not seen reviews, any time tests, and I have not seen reviews from, the classic buff magazines. So Car and Driver, Road and Track, and so on. So I don't know if they're mad because the embargo, or if Cadillac was focused on the new media people and they've kind of left out the magazines. But the magazines try and be new media and old media at the same time, and they still have a great number of readers, and so you wouldn't want to just ignore them. But we'll see where else they show up. Right now, it's Forbes and Yahoo and Detroit News carrying CT6 reviews. And so, but it could just be the magazines don't think this is the news. They previously, when Cadillac had announced the different models of the CT6, then we and everybody else carried that info and all the technical details. And so there really aren't new technical details coming out right now. It's just that the car is getting closer to release, and so production versions. The GM flew a bunch of people out to Los Angeles, I think, but to California, let them drive the production version of the CT6. So sounded like a fun event, and get hands-on with the car and give us better driving impressions of the real life car. But yeah, the 4-wheel steering, I didn't pick up on that. And so it is going to be quite agile on the road. And of course, it's going to have magnetic suspension. The various versions of it weigh different amounts, because the 2-liter turbo, and then a 3.6-liter normally aspirated, and then a 3-liter twin turbo making about 400 horsepower. Now, why the 3-liter twin turbo doesn't make about 450 horsepower is a little confusing, but it's along the same lines of why the 2-liter turbo doesn't make 300 horsepower. It makes 265 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. And the reason is Cadillac doesn't need it to make more power. It's tuned for low-end response, not high-end response, because most of the drivers they're targeting aren't going to wind the car out to red line anyway. And so the best way to tune it to the way they're likely to enjoy the car is to have the engine be the most responsive in the rev range that people are going to drive it. And so I think that's what Cadillac's done in this case. I'm still watching, though. I said, gosh, I'm trying to talk myself into going another year before I replace my STSV, but I'm still watching, where the prices of the previous generation CTSV are going. The other car I like to keep an eye on is the CTS V Sport. So that would be the new model CTS with the twin turbo V6 engine. And then the last car I'm kind of keeping in my eye on is the ELRs. The ELR was not a popular car at the dealer. Now, the ELR is the electric Eldorado, as I like to say, the electric Cadillac, electric range extended Cadillac. So it was kind of a cousin of the Cadillac Volt, a cousin of the Chevy Volt, only, thoroughly redone as a Cadillac. So the ELR is another car I'm keeping my eye on, though, because they sold at a discount at the dealer when they were new because they didn't sell as fast as Cadillac thought that they might, and because the Cadillac priced them too high, in my humble opinion. But now, used, I think that they're going to be a very good value because people are a little iffy about buying used battery electric vehicles or used range extended vehicles. And so that's the other car I'm kind of keeping my eye on, and that's certainly a huge range, looking between the 556 horsepower CTSV or a 420 horsepower V Sport or the ELR. But the ELR, the thing that appeals to me there is I could certainly do my daily commute only on electric and never fill up with gas. Now, one of the problems that these extended range electric owners have run into is you keep the gas in the tank for so long that you have to worry about it going stale. And that's the problem I want, is that I haven't had to go to a gas station in 6 months because I bring the car home every day and recharge overnight. And so but the ELR would have to go in the garage, and my convertible XLR's in the garage. So I'm gonna have to sort out what I want to do there. So what I could do is, I don't want to put a bunch of miles on the XLR because I want to keep it for a long time. So what I could do, I don't know what I could do. I was going to say what I could do is just drive the XLR for a year, for the next year, and then go get, the next car. But yeah, Crest is one of our sponsors on CaddyInfo, but they have a twin turbo V Sport Premium in silver. Now I'm thinking I actually want the black or the blue in the V Sport Premium, or not the silver, because I've had several silver cars lately. But they've got one with 14,000 miles. They want $46,900 for it, which seems about the going rate. 44 to 46 in that range has been. Now here's a 2015, but it's the V. What you have to watch with these is there's a V Sport. And you would think that would be a full boat ride, right? But there's a V Sport, and then there's a V Sport Premium. And what we're shopping for is the V Sport Premium because it's got a few more features. And so while you're shopping used, you want the few more features. So the V Sport Premium, and there is a red V Sport non-premium for a little bit less. But yeah, I'm about to go over to Crest and look at that silver one in person, though, just to get it straight in my mind, or see if we can have it out for the weekend and do a detailed test on it and see if it would fit in my driveway and so on. But yeah, I don't know if I'd get the new car and park it out in the pad, and then I'll have to figure out how I feel about that. But I think the XLR would get to keep the garage spot either way. So we'll have to sort that out. So that's I think that was the big news in the news for Cadillac. There's been a lot of discussion about Cadillac bringing the CTS hybrid, the CT6 hybrid version from China. Now, so what's confusing about that for people is Cadillac is going to make CT6s in the United States at Hamtramck, in Detroit. they're also going to make CT6s in China, because the way the Chinese market works is the government incentivizes you to make cars locally in order to help them build up some manufacturing capability. But certain limited, they think that the plug-in hybrid electric version of the powertrain in the CT6, that they'll only make that in one factory. They think the main market for that will be in China. So they're going to make that one variant in the Chinese market and then sell it, worldwide from the factory in China. So the CT6, if you get the twin turbo 2-liter or the 3.6 liter V6 or the twin turbo V6, then those will come from Hamtramck. If you get the plug-in hybrid version of the CT6, then that will come from the factory in China. I don't remember which city the factory in China is, and so I feel bad about that, but that'll come from the factory in China. I did see an interesting review about the GMC a crossover that's going to be on the same chassis as the XT5. It was very positive, and how that's a little bit smaller and a lot lighter chassis, and so that promises that the XT5 is going to be just as nice as we're hoping it is. The XT5 is it's not a direct replacement for the SRX, but it's the next car in that slot. So it's similar to the SRX, but the styling looks more like an Escalade, and so it should sell very well. Cadillac is expecting some other crossovers that I think maybe a smaller crossover and a larger crossover are coming after the XT5, and so we'll see those. With the larger crossover being about the same size as the Escalade, but the difference is it will have different engine choices and offer some miles per gallon compromises, some different miles per gallon opportunities than the Escalade can offer with the big V8 in it. But those will be exciting cars, and it'll be interesting to see the XT5 in person once we get those to the showroom as well. Cadillac continues to say the CT6 is going to be interesting, but it's not their flagship. That the CT7 and the CT8, however they decide to call it, is going to be their flagship, and we'd expect to see that maybe in a coupe and a sedan and a convertible. They've shown different versions, so we'll have to wait and see what actually makes it to market. Hopefully they'll bring a convertible of their premium car, though. That I'd like to see big Cadillac convertibles again. I was conflicted when I got the XLR, which is a 2-seat convertible built on the premium Y platform. I was conflicted with it because I said, well, what if they come out with an ATS convertible right after I get the XLR? Then I'm going to want to go get an ATS convertible. And my wife said, well, what you do in that circumstance is you go get an ATS convertible. That's, okay, so go do that. There's nothing keeping you from having 2 convertibles. It's just, you'd be okay. It would be okay. Don't panic. So so we'll see. Cadillac hasn't actually announced that they're coming out with an ATS convertible, so no danger at the moment of being conflicted there. It's just I'm trying to look ahead to. I really think a last generation CTSV, kind of like Cadillac Jim came down to Texas and got, is probably the right next car. I keep saying, I want Cadillac to make cars that share engines and drivetrain with the Corvette and other GM cars, because there's a ton of aftermarket. And then the cars I buy are bespoke Cadillac engines with no aftermarket. And so I think for the next one, what I actually need to do is buy, a car with an LSA or the new LT4 engine in order to have access to that aftermarket. But we'll see. I shopped for a while before I got my SCSV, and it's been a very good car for me. And then I'll try and figure out what's the right car for next. Okay, well, I was kind of hanging on. I know Jim had planned to join us for a minute. Mike is not available tonight. I did hear from our friend Texas Jim, but he wasn't available tonight. So I won't keep us going too long. I just wanted to run the show long enough so that you know we're still on, and then I'll check back. We do these on Thursday night. If you ever want to be on to chat or to talk about a Cadillac related product or to talk Cadillacs, then contact me and let me know that that's what you want to do. That in order for us to get you on the Google Plus Hangouts, what I have to do is make sure that you're in the invitation. Although also, if you go through the chat, you can find the jump-in link. You can find the jump-in link, and then that will let you join the chat without an invitation. Send Jim a note. Because maybe we'll have everybody on next week again, which would be nice after a hiatus. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, you can contact me through. Oh, well, Jim's trying to get in. Let me send him a jump-in link since he's having trouble. We're kind of on a timer, so that's a. So Jim, if you're watching, I just posted an IEM in Google Plus to you with the jump-in link. I know we're on a timer, and so we may have used up our time. And I have the dog helping me tonight with the video. The other thing is there's actually a chat feature, and so if you can't do video, there you are.
Yeah, it was a battle.
I'm so sorry. I should have watched the Google Plus. I was busy talking, and I know we're on a timer, but it's good to see you. So the big thing was the CT6. They did some.
Oh, I've been watching. You don't have to repeat.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I've had a lot of invitations to watch.
Well, good that we got you on.
Yeah.
I did talk to Jim, and he's going to try and be on with us next week.
Fantastic.
I chatted with him. So yeah, he's been offline for reasons, and so we'll see if we can get it back home. Yeah, I do think if you could get an XLR an ELR for the right price, that would be an interesting car.
Oh, I'd love to have one, but my wife's Pontiac is a. There's my famous error message. I know I'm in good shape now. She's got this Pontiac with 53,000 miles on it, and it's a perfect car for her. And I just can't bear to part with a little puppy.
Yeah.
It's also a GT with a level 3 suspension, beautiful handling car. Came from the factory with 50 profile tires and the HO V6. She has no clue what it is, but she gets lots of compliments from the young guys.
Well,
But
good.
she likes it because it's easy to drive and she can see out of it.
Yes.
But she likes the smart car, and she is undeterred by the fact that of their. I'm not going to say on live TV what their JD Power satisfaction and quality ratings are, but they're not. They're not. I don't put a lot of stock in JD Power because they don't distinguish between an engine lockup and a weather stripping leak.
I don't think the smart car is a good looking car. I think it's a tacky little car.
Well, about a year ago, I saw two women in one in a 50-mile zone coming the other way. They looked terrified.
So they understood the situation.
Oh, yeah. Now, I consider them a motor scooter with a heater. They're more than that, of course. They're, fairly well built. I understand that if they get in accidents, they bounce around like a hockey puck, but don't crush.
Well, that's good.
It's just, I suppose it really depends on the belts and airbags.
Well, just like all the rest of us, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's the airbags that will save you anymore if they go off.
Yeah, well, you got to have the belts on or the airbags don't work right.
If they go off and if the airbag doesn't kill you.
Well, if you don't have the belts on, the airbag's dangerous. That's what people don't realize. They get in and refuse to buckle the seatbelt.
Now, I thought the airbag was so dangerous because they assume that you're not going to be seat belted and that it has to go off rapidly enough to catch you before you plummet, you hit the windshield. In other words, if it could have assumed that you had your seatbelt on, it wouldn't have to be so explosive.
Well, I've heard of people being put in places they would not ordinarily be by an airbag and being hurt or killed.
Wow.
If they weren't wearing their belt.
Yeah, you should always wear your belt. No kidding. But I do think that's it, and maybe that was folklore, but that's what I'd always heard is the airbags are so explosive because they're assuming you're not wearing your seatbelt. Now, it doesn't change your point, which is your point is you're more likely to get hurt by the airbag if you're not wearing your seatbelt because you're more likely to be where the explosion is, which is not what you want.
You're also highly unlikely to be hurt by an airbag if you are wearing your belts properly.
One of my favorite driver's ed videos was a video called Room to Live. And the point of the video was at the end of the crash, after they figured, after the smoke cleared, if you had been in the driver's seat still, there was room to live there. In other words, they could have lived through, both the driver and the passenger got ejected through the windshield. But if they had still been in the car, they'd still be alive, was the point of the video.
I think the highest fidelity raters, those are ejected from the vehicle.
I'm going to have to see if that Room to Live video is available off on YouTube or something. Because that was, I went to high school a few years ago.
No.
A bit ago. Yeah, I was laughing about... Yeah, driver's ed video, Room to Live. They have their own usdrivertraining.com. I'm gonna stop the sound on it. Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, maybe they just have that set on their search though. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. The original Room to Live classic driver's education video. I will put the link to that on the forum for tonight's chat.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that and see if it is worth watching. I haven't seen it in 30 years, so it may not be worth watching anymore. But
well, if it made that much of an impression, it's probably worth something even today.
Yes, there you go. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to keep it as a short show tonight, though. Is there any other topics you wanted to cover, Jim?
Well, as you know, I'm preoccupied with a 9 o'clock appointment.
Yep.
With home entertainment and the wife. But basically, I've had so few issues with my CTSV other than the dealer seeing me as a money spigot. Here, fill her up. It's the most reliable car I've ever had. I've had it. I've lost track. Is it 2.5, 3 years now? It's almost 3 years, I think.
I've lost track too.
And All I've done is change the oil. I did have a rim leak in the left front because when I changed the tires about 8 months after I got it, the people I had mount the tires, they gave me calls saying that a wheel I'd bought to replace a dinged one was not the same color as the others, and this might be a problem for me. But they failed to clean the inside of the left front. And so it developed a rim leak because they had not cleaned the rim properly. I found that out because I've located people other than the dealer to work on my car, and they pulled both front tires. The right front had a dying tire pressure monitor sensor transmitter. They run on a damn battery, and the battery lasts anywhere from 2 to 5 years, depending on the phases of the moon, how much you drive the car, and so forth. And so I just replaced both tire pressure sensors, but I had to pull the right one to replace the sensor. I had to pull the left one to fix the rim leak, and the right one was the new wheel. And I said, "Well, how was the other wheel?" And they said, "It was all right." So they tell the truth. And I'm going back to these people. I'm going to need an oil change in the next month or two, and I'm probably going to go to them for it. They're a family business that specializes in high performance and collectible and antique cars, and all the local Porsche people without a warranty cars go to them. But I actually saw a 50s Austin Healey 3000 GT being restored in there.
Fun.
I spotted that old pushrod 6 first, and asked what it was. They pointed to an off-body off the frame restoration going on the other side of the shop. It was a beautiful car.
Yeah, I like the looks of those. I wouldn't want to pay for the restoration, but I like the looks of them. Well, Jim, hold on. And so as I said, if you do want to be on with us, contact me offline through CaddyInfo.com forums or through Google Plus, and we'll get you started. Jim, thank you for being on. Sorry we had a short show. Sorry there was confusion about how to get on, and that we had a short visit tonight.
They've changed the invite. They've changed the way the invite works. I was not getting invited to join.
Yeah, I sent you an invite.
But it was not an invite to join.
I'm gonna have to do better. I'm gonna have to figure out it better. So, but it's good to see you. See you next time.
Okay.